Good evening, this is Joy News, your election headquarters on Multi TV, and this is Constituency Watch live every weeknight at 10 p.m. And tonight we are live on the Joy News channel on Multi TV and right around the world on the internet at streams.myjoyonline.com. The days are drawing even closer to the December 7 polls, which are just 10 days away. So are you getting closer to your constituency, or were you registered to vote? Well, tonight we are in the Ashanti region, and to be precise, the Old Tafo constituency. It is a constituency which has been dominated by the NPP since 1996. Will the dynamics change this year? Share with us your predictions and comments on our short code 1760 or 0544-334-722. That's our WhatsApp number. Or you can send us a tweet at Joy News on TV or at NeSmart. Alternatively, you can post your comments on our Facebook page, facebook.com/joynews. My name is Nia Krofi Smartabe, and Constituency Watch is brought to you through the kindest courtesy of Star Ghana. We will be right back. Welcome back. This is still Constituency Watch, brought to you by Star Ghana. And before we go any further, though, I have a very important message for you. You may have registered as a voter, but if your age is below 18 years, please do not vote, because underage voting is illegal and you can be arrested and prosecuted. So parents, please stop your children from voting if they are below 18. Any person under 18 years who votes may be arrested and prosecuted. This message is an initiative of the Editors Forum Ghana in collaboration with the National Commission for Civic Education, the Electoral Commission of Ghana, and the multimedia group operators of Multi TV. We'll touch base straight with the Old Tafo constituency, and already joining me on the line is the CPP's parliamentary candidate for that constituency, Issa Abdul Salam. Good evening to you, Mr. Abdul Salam, and thanks for joining us on Constituency Watch.
Good evening.
Okay, Mr. Salam, you are coming to this race again for the second time. You contested in that same constituency in 2004 when it was created. I just want to find out, between 2008 and 2012, what has changed for you?
Thank you, my brother, and good evening to your listeners. Between 2008 and 2012, I can say that nothing seriously has changed within our constituency. It's the same constituency as it used to be. The struggle for car, the struggle for everything that we used to do remains like it is. We thought at the beginning things might change, because in 2004, when we had a new MP who happens to be also in government, something might have changed. But after this that I'm talking to you, till they exit from power, nothing has changed. And when they give the power to the NDC too, the excuses are simple. We are no longer in power, my government is not in power, so they expect much from me. And one what I would like to ask, when you really are in power, things just happen. So,
Mr. Abdul Salam, sorry, Mr. Abdul Salam, if you can... Mr. Abdul Salam, if you can kindly reposition yourself. We're having some break in your line, and then you can go ahead with your point. You were saying even if they give the power to the NDC, nothing will change.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that I wasn't saying even if he gave the... I was saying that when Honorable Akoto was in power, and we thought something might change, because he ended up being a Minister of State in charge of finance. We thought something serious would happen to our constituency. Nothing has happened. When NDC took over, the excuses are clear that they are no longer in power, so we don't expect much from him. As if we were made to believe that when it's only when you are in power that you get access to the state and give your constituency its share. And what I'm saying is that if you consider our constituency, since for the 20 years that we've been in democracy, we had 12 years of MPs who have been in power, being the MPs for our constituency, and nothing serious has changed in this constituency. The road that we have since PNDC era is the same road that we have after, as I'm talking to you. The struggle we struggle from our constituency to Central Market is the same struggle that it's even increased. First we used to board twice car, now it's even thrice. Sometimes we have to board 4 times just to travel within at the highest of 6 miles. But you have to take 4 or 3 times a car simply because of traffic. So if you stay at the Baraka, for instance, you first take a car to Pankrono. They will take 30 pesos from you. You take from Pankrono to Tafo, another 30 pesos, and from Tafo to Kajetia, another 30 pesos, summing up to 90 pesos. Whereas the normal price should have been from Adabraka to town, it should be 50 pesos. But because of traffic, the car will tell you, I will not go to town, coming to Pankrono. From Adabraka, just about less than 2 miles drive. You bought it, you take 30 pesos. You are in the same car, you won't drop. They tell you are going to Tafo, you pay. They get to Tafo, they tell you are going to KJTP. This is what we used to have, and it continues.
Okay, but that is an issue I think probably the GPRTU local branch would have to address. But then, of course, we understand that there have been some major improvements in terms of development in the constituency. For instance, there's a police station that has a flat for the police personnel posted there. There's been improvement in the education sector. There's even been a vocational training institute that already has graduated about 400 persons who are trying to do stuff on their own, creating jobs for themselves. Isn't this some improvement in the livelihood for people in the constituency?
My brother, starting with the vocational school, I wish you are in Tafo to see where the vocational school is located. It is located within a compound of a school we all know called Tapas, Tafo Pankrono LA Primary School. In those days, it was a middle school.
Okay.
Now it's JHS. It's just a small compound. I wonder how it graduates 400 people, because it's about 2 classrooms. And even if each classroom will take 100 students, then I don't know how many years they spend in the school. That for the past 4 years, they've been able to graduate 400 students. But I wish you were there to see the school we are talking about. It's only 2 or 3 classrooms that cannot contain more than 150 students. So how many years do they spend that they get from the school? Back to the issue of education. I don't know what they're talking about. Since we came into this democracy, I'm yet to be told we have a new school within the constituency. There used to be all schools that we have as far as the government projects are concerned, unless there are some minor development in certain schools. But the rest of the schools that emerges are private schools. On the issue of the police station, yes, there has been a police station there, a 4-flat police station. That one is an improvement, but that is not the problem of people of Tafo. Tafo is not a crime-prone area that you need to build more police stations just to minimize crime. The major problems of Tafo has not been solved.
So what for you, what are the major problems of Tafo that you think need to be resolved but have not been resolved?
One of the major problems is what I was telling you.
The roads.
People access to town, in and out, is a problem.
Okay.
If you go to this as I'm talking to you, you still get people who are living in Pankrono still waiting for a car, especially on Mondays and Saturdays. People will leave their workshop at 5 o'clock and reach home at 10 p.m. in the evening. That is one major problem. 2 is that Tafo itself has been abandoned in everything. We don't see anything as far as the infrastructure is concerned. As we are talking about, even though we don't have any school on the tree in Tafo, but we want to even see a major project as far as education is concerned. It's not happening in Tafo. Our market is just collapsed. Nothing is happening. When there's a rainfall, half of the market has to close.
When you say the market has collapsed, exactly what do you mean?
I don't mean it has collapsed, but I mean that the market is weak.
It's not functioning.
It's functioning all right, but when there's in the rainy season like this, you expect people, half of the market, to go home, because when there's a rainfall, they cannot be in the rain and sell.
Okay.
All the roofs have collapsed, and they will have to go and leave the rest to make business. And even in our own station where people bought car, come and see how it looks like. If you don't take care of your dead queue and one car pass by you, everything finished, because every place is muddy. In central Kumasi, like Tafo, every place is muddy. We have so many feeder roads that we can develop. We abandon them. So you can, in my area, a big gutter we call Bokara. For those who know Tafo, in my area, one of the biggest gutters, it has a bridge, and it can be linked to so many places. It has been abandoned. For all this one, nothing is being done over it. We have the youth of Tafo, their faith are left in cafes. You go to all internet cafes, I'm talking to you, you see a child of less than 10 years, he's in an internet cafe. See, because there's nothing serious for them to do. We are saying that at least under some of us, when we take over, we create a football academy, because Tafo, we have good footballers. We have in every house we have good footballers. We are going to create a football academy where we get all these young guys into it. You be in football, and we control you to be in school, so that they won't end up being in the internet cafes.
Okay.
So we get a better future for them.
Okay, so you have identified most of the problems, or what you believe are the major problems that need to be resolved in Tafo, i.e. The roads and infrastructure, and then of course the market. What are your plans for addressing these problems that you have identified yourself?
My problem is that I knew it's not the MPs who has to construct roads and other things, but the MP who has to led the state to see the needs of doing that.
Exactly.
If I give you the opportunity, I would let the government see the essence of developing that area, instead of going there to serve the interest of my political party.
And you think the incumbent MP and the past MPs have not done that for the constituency?
They should prove me wrong. All the time you hear them talking in Parliament, it is about defending their party or the interest of their party. Most of the time, Chairman Song used to be our MP.
Exactly.
He has been twice, and all that he did was to defend the MPP in the Parliament. Our Honorable Akoto, the same thing he's doing. Whenever you hear him talking in Parliament, I'm yet to be corrected. Whenever I heard him talking in Parliament, he's talking about the policy of his party. I never heard him talking about the problem that we have in his constituency. But what I knew is that as an MP, you're representing your people there. Well, all of us are not supposed to be there to complain. One has to represent us. But in the situation when one gets there and the interest is on his party rather than his people, then he is misleading us. Definitely we have to change to bring somebody who will represent us. That is what we are asking for.
Okay. Now, it's interesting you indicated that Tafo Pankrono, or the old Tafo constituency is not a crime-prone constituency. But, of course, we know that in the lead up to this year's election, for instance, flashpoints have started emerging across the country. Some constituencies which hitherto were not flashpoints or were not hotspots have become so in the lead up to the election. We have just about 10 days to go. How are you, as a candidate or an aspirant for that constituency, how are you going about your campaigning in such that the tempers in that constituency do not flare up, to ensure that peace prevails in that constituency?
In my constituency, as I said, it's not a crime-prone area. The problem we have is that it's with the MPC and MPP who want to show their superiority somehow at certain polling stations. In my campaign, whatever I do, I let them realize the essence of election. We don't elect because of what one person wants. It's about the collective idea of people. If at the end of the day, the majority says we decide on A, let's all follow the A, so that tomorrow we can also follow you with B. But what we normally tell them is that voting is just a simple thing. Just share your idea, vote and go away. Your idea is different from someone. Your understanding might be different from someone. You cannot impose your interest on someone. That's what I tell them, most of them. I understand that for all this while we've been voting, they should realize that most of the voting, it doesn't reflect them in their life. We queue in so many things in life, but as we queue for food, we benefit it. We queue for car, we benefit because we get a car to vote. You queue for treatment at hospital, you get access to doctor. But it's only election that we queue and vote, and we don't get direct benefit. So there's no need for them to fight over it. It is good for us to have democracy rather than revolution or any other government. So we should all follow the democratic dispensation, vote quietly, go back home, and whatever results come out, let's all accept it. Ghana is the best thing we all want. That's what I normally tell them after I do my campaigning. That is the things that I end up telling them.
Thank you very much. But before I let you go, though, you didn't perform that well against the same Dr. Anthony Akoto, whom you're going against this year. How do you see your chances in this particular election?
Thank you, my brother. I did not perform very well against Dr. Akoto because I became a candidate in that 2008 election when the very day I was able to file my nomination. Initially, it wasn't I was supposed to be the candidate, but for what reason that I was asked to do that. This time around, I had the opportunity of coming out in 3 months before. I can tell you there has been so many changes. I've been able to cover almost all the polling stations. I can tell you almost all the polling stations, I have a representation there who are doing the underground work for me. As I'm telling you, I just came back from home. I have to go and meet so many people at certain areas. We talk to them. Even though some of the responses, all the responses might not reflect into votes, but I knew that this time around there will be a change. The people of Tafo are fed up with one-way government. One way we have MPP the past 16 years, and nothing has changed. I gave them that they should gamble or sacrifice their interest this time around for me. whether NDC or MP, they will sacrifice it and give it to CPP. And only 4 years, they will see difference. If I fail to do something that is more important in their life, they can vote for me. Inshallah, with this message, I know it will reflect the things will change in our community.
Okay, all right then. We'll have to say a big thank you to you, Isa Abdul Salam, for joining us tonight on Constituency Watch. Well, Isa Abdul Salam, we just spoke to him. He is the Convention People's Party's candidate for the Old Tafo constituency. Now, it's a constituency which was created prior to the 2004 elections, by the way. It was carved from the Old Tafo Old Tafo Swame constituency that used to be the parents' constituency before the Old Tafo constituency was separated from the Old Tafo Swame constituency. Well, the NPP, like I said, has been representing it from 1996 when it was Old Tafo Swame constituency through to now that it is still Old Tafo constituency. And they are saying that the seat is still their safe seat, but the other candidates think otherwise. But here's a profile of the Old Tafo constituency. Hopefully after that, we'll be speaking to the incumbent MP for the constituency, Dr. Anthony Akoto-Osei. Until the 2004 polls, the Old Tafo constituency was part of the Old Tafo Swame constituency. It was represented in Parliament in 1992 by Kingsley Nanakwesi Afol of the Ego Party. But from 1996 till the constituency was split, it was represented in Parliament by the incumbent minority leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu. The constituency is one of the 30 new constituencies created ahead of the 2004 polls. It covers popular areas like Tafo Pankrono Estate, Pankrono, Tafo, Ahimbronum and Moro Market. Out of a total vote cast of 44,120 in the 2004 parliamentary elections, Dr. Anthony Akoto-Osei of the New Patriotic Party secured 34,957 votes, representing 79.4%, while the NDC's candidate Salu Ibrahim had 7,116 votes, representing 16.2%, with the CPP's Andrews K. Asamoah Akoto managing 426 votes, representing 1.0%. There was a drop in voter turnout during the 2008 polls from 82.4% to 71.61%, but the NPP's candidate Dr. Akoto-Osei managed to retain the seat with 36,171 votes, representing 76.2%. The NDC's Dominic Kwabena Anoma, on the other hand, managed 10,386 votes, representing 21.9%, while the CPP's Isa Abdul Salam polled 375 votes, representing 0.79%. In the presidential race in the constituency, former President Kufuor secured 35,364 votes, or 76.19%, during the 2004 polls, whilst the late President John Mills managed 10,558 votes for the NDC, representing 22.75%. The trend did not change in 2008 as the NPP's candidate Nana Akufo-Addo polled 34,887 votes in the first round, with the NDC's John Mills managing 12,243 votes. Again, during the runoff polls, Nana Addo maintained the lead with 39,456 votes, or 74.62%, while the NDC's John Mills managed 13,417, or 25.38% of the total votes cast. 8 years after its creation, the Old Tafo constituency has benefited from a number of development projects. The constituency has a well-equipped police station and a 72-flat housing the police personnel. There has also been an improvement in the educational sector. In the area of social interventions, a vocational training center has been constructed to train and empower the vulnerable, mostly women, in dressmaking, batik tie and dye, catering services, and kente weaving to enable them make ends meet. So far, about 400 trainees have graduated from the center. Structures like the Pankrono Health Center and the post office are yet to be completed, and construction works on the Old Tafo Hospital, however, are expected to be completed soon. In spite of these developments, residents are crying over the poor nature of roads, street lights, public toilet and poor drainage systems in some parts of the constituency. But the aspiring MPs are proposing dynamic ways of tackling these concerns. The Convention People's Party's candidate, Issa Abdel Salam, believes tactical decision-making under his watch will save the constituents.
I realized that people who came in and gone, all of them were not in Tafo Constituency, or let me say Tafo Constituency. We've been quiet for so long. Some of us decided to come out just to fight for it. This is where we belong. We have no other place. So my mission for being the parliamentary candidate was to save my society, where I belong. I have no place to go like others who have come and gone. We used to have some parliamentary candidates who is no longer here with us. He's in Australia. The one we have in here is not from this place. He was in his American and he came here just to leave us. If Tafo collapses, he has no place to go. Some of us are born and bred here, and we are here for good.
Meanwhile, the incumbent MP, Dr. Anthony Akutose, appears to know the challenges of the people and is sure of putting those concerns to rest if given another term in office.
We have done a lot of things in this constituency, and I'm sure you have the list, but it's still a lot to do. And I believe if I'm given the opportunity to go a third term, I will advance the cause of people in Old Tafo and Pankrodo. The post office project is yet to be completed. The maternity ward is yet to be completed. The Ash FM road is yet to be done properly. Yeah, and a few other things that are needed to be done. I continue to support various students with scholarships. So I believe I have an advantage. But as for my chances of winning, I think I've campaigned well enough. And I believe the people of Tafo have some confidence in me that I'm sure they will return me for the third term.
Now, it remains to be seen if the people of Old Tafo will stick with the NPP or opt for another candidate. Okay, so that was our profile of the Old Tafo constituency. We'll take a quick break, but before I do that, here's one message that has come through. He says, I pledge to work for a better Ghana to transform lives in a free and fair democratic rule. I believe in natural resources, the wisdom, and the human resources. Ghana will never die, will never burn to ashes. I believe in Ghana. This is still Constituency Watch. We're taking a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still Constituency Watch here on Joy News, your election headquarters. And we are going back to the Old Tafo constituency, where we are joined on the line now by Dr. Anthony Akutose of the NPP, or he is the NPP's parliamentary aspirant for that constituency. Good evening, sir, and thanks for joining us.
Good evening, and a very good evening to all your viewers.
Okay. First of all, I just want to find out from you, we spoke earlier to the CPP's candidate for the same constituency you're vying for, Issa Abdel Salam, and he says that the constituency's major problems, you haven't addressed them at all. How do you respond to that?
I'm not sure what the CPP candidate is talking about. He knows better. I mean, does he know what the constituency's problems are?
Well, for him, he thinks the pressing problems are the roads in the constituency, infrastructure, and of course the market. And he says people in the constituency still struggle with a vehicle. For instance, they have to take vehicles about 3 times before they get to where they are going because the roads are not good and the drivers are not willing to ply them.
First of all, let me say a good evening to your viewers. I know my brother, the CP candidate. I don't talk evil of him, but he knows better than what he's saying. So there are 2 or 3 major projects that I started that the NDC should have completed, and they haven't. The hospital in Tafo, actually 3. The post office in Tafo and the health center in Pankrodo. I wish in 4 years what I put up, they could have done. The CPP candidate knows that water in the entire constituency was not running well before 2004.
Okay.
And I got it running in 2004. So I'm not worried about what I have not done, because the people in Tafo Pankrodo know what I've done. The issue is that we need to do more. The issue is not what I have not done. How much more can we do if my government comes to power? Ronaldo has talked to us about how NPP is going to transform the country. It will help us with Tafo Bakrono. So my brother from CPP should relax. He knows he will not get back.
But then apart from him, your constituents are also complaining about poor nature of roads, for instance, the street lights, poor drainage.
But I'm telling you, all the things they're talking about 8 years ago didn't exist. Ask the constituents if they know about the Kodua Junction Road.
Okay.
It is a major development that I put in place. And everybody that lives in that Tafo Bakrono knows that. So I'm not worried at all. My opponents, unfortunately, are a bit childish. I mean, if they don't even look, my NDC opponent, her own neighborhood, the roads, she should know how it was done. She should know how it was done. I got it done in front of her house.
When was that? When you came back for the second term or during your first term?
No, in the first term.
Okay.
And even before I became an MP, I did enough some projects before I even became an MP. All the three other candidates. Look, my dear, I think that I've done enough. I've not finished my work, and I know my people will put me back to finish, to continue, not finish, continue some of the work I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm not worried at all. I've done enough for the people in the constituency that I'm convinced that they'll re-elect me.
Okay, before I let you go, though, Dr. Kotose, the issue of flashpoints emerging with just weeks or days, if I can put it that way, to the election is a source of concern for almost everybody. But of course, Abdul Salam also pointed out that the old Tafo constituency is not crime-prone, and I believe it won't be violence-prone as well. So what are you doing as part of your campaign to make the elections in that constituency more peaceful and also so that it doesn't appear on the flash list?
On Saturday, the local council of churches organized a forum for the candidates. I was the only one that showed up. On November 30th, the NCC is organized a forum for all the candidates at the Tafo Chief's place. I'll be there.
Okay.
Since I have become a candidate, we have not had any problem.
Okay.
And we want to repeat that. If there's any candidate who thinks about bringing violence to Tafo Bakrono, they'll be disappointed.
Okay.
Because we will live together before, during, and after. I don't have any problem with that at all.
Okay. All right. And Doc, you've always performed quite well in that constituency. What are you looking at or expecting this time round? Any percentage of margin?
Increase my percentage from about 72 to about 80.
80?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Please do.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Aseakoto. He is the NPP's parliamentary candidate for the Old Tafo constituency. And just before we leave the studio, two more messages have coming from you, the viewers. Let me read them quickly, then we can go. This one says, Ni, tell all the other contestants not to worry about the Old Tafo seat since Dr. Aseakoto is taking it for the third time running. Long live the NPP. That's from James Amuzu. Okay, that's James's message. And the last one from Maputo, a regular. He says, Smart, from the footage we just watched, it is very clear the NPP has nothing to improve the lives of the people of Old Tafo. And I'll be very surprised if Che Mensa Bunsu, this time Che Mensa is no longer their MP. It's actually Dr. Aseakoto who is their MP. So you are saying that the Old Tafo people must vote him out. Well, those are your comments. Thank you very much for sharing them with us. That's how we draw the curtain on tonight's edition of Constituency Watch. My name is Nia Krofi Smatabe. Marian Ture comes up shortly with Nightly News. Good evening.